People have asked me several times, and they will hopefully ask again this, our 50th wedding anniversary, what is the true story, the really true story of how Barbara and Ted met? And what follows is the true story. You may hear occasionally other versions, but this is the true story. And I will just give you an advance clue. It does involve a hat. Not necessarily this hat, but it started our acquaintance, our relationship on the note of hats. And hats have continued to be an important part of my life with Barbara for the last 50 years. A little context is called for. It's August 1956, Washington, D.C. It's hot as hell. The sidewalks are like pancake grills. I have just been fired from the 6th job I've had since graduating from Amherst College in June of 1956, including the Foreign Service and the CIA and the Columbia Record Company. But I was employed by IBM as an electric typewriter salesman as my last job. And this particular day in August, hot day in August of 1956, finds me in front of the American Airlines ticket office at 16th and K in Washington, D.C., in front of the Statler, at the bottom of the Statler Hotel. It looked like there was air conditioning in there. So I went in the Statler Hotel, went to the ticket counter. It was this is where all the congressmen and the lobbyists do their ticketing. So it was a big crowd of people at the ticket counter. And I am in my IBM suit. Pearl gray summer wool, lightweight pebbled shoes, calf-length socks with garters, silk underwear, a very expensive Dobbs hat cantered casually to the right across my brow, and I came into the American Airlines ticket office at 16th and K on this August hot afternoon. As I came in, I noticed the ticket agents lined up in their blue uniforms back at the ticket counter doing their business. And one particularly handsome lady, good looking, cute, blonde, beautiful smile, seeming to hold the attention of the ticket gatherers. But the air conditioning had kicked out. And the supervisor, by name Phil Goldrick, tall, drink of water, slightly buck-toothed, had told the ticket agents they could take their jackets off. So, as I stood in the back of this crowd of lobbyists, this particular cute blonde that had caught my eye took her jacket off. Da 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 dee, ya da da dee dee dee. I'm sure she was not aware of that, but I was certainly aware of how well constructed underneath these bulky American airline gabardine ticket jackets this lady was, as she took off her jacket and hung it up and then tucked in her blouse. It was about her time to take a break. I was going to fake making a ticket reservation, anything to have a chance to chat, but she left. And truth to say, I didn't follow her. But I did go up to the ticket counter and ask the supervisor in charge, could I have an employment form? And I got my American Airlines employee application for employment form, went out to the lobby of the Statler Hotel, which was no more air conditioned than the airline ticket office was to fill that out. Short story, I was accepted, went to work at one of 6 offices, American Airlines offices in Washington, next to Barbara Borst, who I was to spend considerable time with, working weekend shifts, borrowing her car to transport myself and my old high school sweetie on a dinner date. And we became closer and closer over these last 52 years to where you find us today.
This is my version of the true story of what happened when Ted and I met. As I say, it was apropos that when he was wearing a fancy hat, because he is a man of many hats and many talents. One of the things I remember the most was his singing ability and his ability to make up songs to his own devices and storytelling. We both agree that it was in the summer, it was very hot, and he was dressed up in a suit with a hat on, and it was really warm. And it took place at American Airlines at 16th office at 16th and K in Washington, D.C. I say it was a very hot day. The office was small, had no, and very, very busy. We just had a lot of customers there. It was very popular spot, and American Airlines was very much popular usually for their flights going up to Boston and New York. I remember, I think I was sitting at a will call desk, which was nice because I could sit down. Usually you couldn't sit down at this particular time. And as I recall, Ted came in and came over to me asking for a application for employment. And I say I was impressed because he had, and it was hot again. Again, I can't emphasize how hot it was, that he had on a Dobbs hat and this suit. We were very anxious to have new help because we were very busy, and the lines would be lined up in front of the counters, 3 and 4 people long. That's why it was okay in will call. I wasn't, because I didn't have that many people in front of me because they were special people. I got to do that just for, I think, lunch hour, but Peg Moran usually sat there. I got to do a lunch hour and sit down. He talks about us having taken our jackets off. And it probably was true because the conditions in the air office at that time, this was facing west, and the sun just would beat in the middle in the afternoon, and it was extremely hot. Anyway, I was very happy to give out an application because we certainly needed more. We certainly needed more help, and I do remember him being dressed in this hat. I thought it was kind of silly for that warmth of the day. I couldn't understand because we were really warm where we were.
In this life, I was loved by you. For every mountain I have